Hey YouTube modeling community. This video is my completion of the 1-72 special hobby Lockeed Vega 5B Lady Lindy for Charlie Mac's group build honoring the 80th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack. I'm also throwing in a little shop surprise. Hint, a few of you previously commented about a Testors sign. So here we go. I'm going to pick up where I left off on my final 2021 update. The plane is painted and done, and all the sub-assemblies are complete. Finally happy with the paint job. It's nice and glossy all over, which is kind of what I was going for, and I don't see any streaking anymore. So this has all those B's there are supposed to be silver. Here's the mask job on that. So now I'm just gonna hit those with the spastics. Here's those silver spots with the spastics. I think those came out nice. Next, I cut and prepared all the decals, and then along the way realized I needed something to hold that cowl a little better, so I used that dowel rod again. Then proceeded to further trim the decals and lay those in place and sealed them down with the red microsol. I've completed the decals going down the side and on the back and the front of the monocoque, the wheel housing. Now at the tips, those are still drying. I just touched them with the salva set. These are pretty thick, but they do go down nice. You can see how it conformed around those blisters and stuff. So yeah, these are nice decals. I'm pretty happy. And then here's on the propeller. Next, I started on that rear tow bar by removing the bicycle wheels from their PE frame, sanded down the connection points, and then bent the wheels on my PE press. I want to create these wheels, but when you fold it, it's just flat. And, obviously that's a little more 3D, and there's like a axle in there. I cut these pieces off this little spares piece that I had. And what I'm going to try to do is put them in the center there, and then, close that on top of it, glue it, close it on top. And hopefully it bows out on both sides. I actually think that worked out pretty well. Makes them a little more 3D-ish. I didn't want to put too much in there, but yeah, it kind of gives them that 3D effect now. You may recall in my recent video, is that a sign? For all your hobby and craft needs. Testors for every surface. Testors Creative Zone. If I had room in my workshop, I would get that and hang that, but I don't. It's pretty friggin' cool. And a few of you commented about the sign, and I mentioned this to my wife, and
the lady, I went up to the lady and I said,
you got both of them.
Well, yeah, what's the point of getting one without the other, right? What
I guess.
Do with it?
I think I'm going to put it up here and take this stuff down and move it down.
So she looked at it and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, so you might as well take them.
Thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
So there we go. I put the sign up, did a little rearranging, and put it up over the spray booth and the Testors paint rack. My wife is awesome. That's so cool. The plane and the cowling are drying from their final gloss coat. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. I have made those wheels, and I'm going to try to make the outer ring look like tires. I fill it in with some glue, build it up, and then paint it black. I guess you can tell it's a little more built up. I'm taking the ultra thick super glue and just, you know, globbing it on there, kind of holding that brush on there and then spinning it, and then, you know, just building it up. Like maybe only 2 more layers on that side where it had the fender, and then build up this other side to match that. This is the only image I could find of it. And here she is with the plane, but she has, you know, some sort of different apparatus to drag that around. It looks like there's a single pole going, you know, that single pole going all the way through, and then like a couple of boards or a flat board, you know, carved out there on top, and then a second board underneath with, looks like the axle going through there. I'm gonna make my attempt to recreate that. So that's what I came up with. It's got an axle through the bottom there, supported by a piece in front, and then supported by another plank underneath. And then I have this triangular rod as well. Yeah, okay, so there you can see. Now let's see if I can focus on that one. Yeah. So that's kind of what I came up with. I think that's what that is. So I'm going with that. I could not find any other references for that thing. So this is my attempt at wood. So what I went with was, I sprayed it with the zinc chromite, let that dry. Luckily it's flat, so it dried pretty quick. Then washed it, made a enamel wash with the highly thinned brown in the middle there, and then kind of dry brushed the wash, if you will, to try to streak it, to give it a wood look, and then did the same thing again with the cream, and then hit it with the dull coat, and then came back again now with the acrylic black, and washed that over it, and then hit it with dull coat again. Oh, and then finally did that axle. If you can see, that axle is now black. And I did the black a little bit more on the bottom to kind of look like grime and mud or dirt or what have you. You know, that kind of looks like a matchstick. And a matchstick is made of wood, so there you go. Started doing the panel line wash, as you can see. And I'm not going to go overboard, just kind of touch it in the corners and along all the moving flaps and seams. And I just put the wheels in, and I tacked the engine in place with medium super glue. I put glued the exhaust in there. So I'm spraying the center of those wheels with the Model Master steel non-buffing metalizer. Here's where I'm at on these. I just hit them with the flat black and they're still drying. This one's, you know, not too bad. This one needs some work. I still need to flatten that out some more. Yeah, it's kind of achieving what I had hoped, I guess. All right, so I just touched a little bit of super glue in the middle on each side. So that is the finished product. I mean, this one on this side looks good, but the one on the other side's bad. And I don't want to dig into to pull another one out of there because I do want to make that bike. Again, this is an accessory. It's not attached to the plane. So, so I think that's good enough. So there we go. That's what I came up with. So I'll run some photos here without the stand and then some with the stand. So that does it for the Lockeed Vega 5B Lady Lindy for Charlie Mac's Pearl Harbor group build. And a big thanks to Charlie for hosting. So stay tuned for my next build intro coming right on the heels of this video. And as always, thanks for watching and happy modeling.